Hello. There is a slight delay, so I'm not gonna jump straight into things, but welcome to the people. Would not be one of my live shows if I hadn't failed to tweet out the thing, so I will tweet that out now. While I wait for comments to load. Oh, StreamYard is still saying there's nobody here, but that's fine. I guess while I continue to wait, we can talk a little bit about what Parachutes by Kelly Yang is for those of the people who are just gonna watch the playback. Now they're saying there's 4 people here, but what I thought this book was going to be like a bunch of rich people doing rich people shenanigans, which why I thought that when that's definitely not what the synopsis says. I don't know. Maybe I'm stereotyping. Hello to Taylor. You're the first comment to load in. Welcome. But what it really is, you have Claire, who is from Shanghai, and her parents send her. Hello. Welcome. Sent her to California to live. And she lives with her roommate, Danny, who, can we talk about? I did not like Danny. That's what I want to start off with. Did anybody in the chat like Danny? I think that's an excellent starting point because I didn't like her at all. And I felt, hello, I didn't even feel guilty about not liking Danny. I felt that Danny was definitely... Okay, I can't wait. So I guess if I was going to give like a... Look. See, this is not Gossip Girl. Anyone who is comparing this book to Gossip Girl clearly either hasn't watched Gossip Girl or they haven't read the book, because this book is not... There are no Gossip Girl vibes to be found here, which was what I thought I was gonna get. I think that's another one of those like misconception things, was I thought that's what it was going to be, and that's very much not. Like, I don't understand why. Like, I understand that Claire is her name is Claire. Do I even know these characters' names? Yeah, Claire Wong. Ooh, can we stop? Like, she's rich, and like I guess the other parachutes that she hangs out with, they're kind of like the more messy rich kids doing messy rich kids thing, but she's not really a part of that. Like she is, but that's not really her vibe, like her aesthetic. Like, that's not what she's here for. So I wouldn't compare it to Gossip Girl. I think if you go into this wanting Gossip Girl vibes, you will be very disappointed, because it's definitely not that. And then Danny is like, I want to say middle class, but she's like lower middle class. Like, she is very like, her family is not well off by any means, and they're just kind of struggling to get through life. So, well, I don't know if I would say they're struggling, but they are definitely the opposite end of where Claire and her family are. Like, the I don't want to say polar opposite, because I feel like polar opposite is like desperately impoverished, like living out on the street, and that's definitely not where Danny's family is, but things are not easy for them. And so they are nothing like Gossip Girl. Like, nothing. Like, even the Humphreys are better off than Danny. Okay, I'm assuming that you also didn't like Danny, and I did feel kind of guilty because she kind of warmed up to me at the end, but at the beginning of the book, Danny, like, stop. This had nothing. Yeah, I don't understand why. I think it's in the blurb. Let me go to Goodreads. Is this one? Because sometimes they be real bold and they be putting it in like Goodreads descriptions trying to sell the book, and I'm just like, you're not doing what you think you're doing here. But let's see. It does. This is weird. I don't understand. Speak enters the world of Gossip Girl. I don't understand. That's weird. I would definitely not. Definitely not. Yeah, Claire. Yeah, we've never seen Gossip Girl, but it's definitely not. It's nothing like that. It's not even remotely close to being like Gossip Girl. So No. Yes, Danny was, well, first Danny was like, you hated Zach? I love, Zach was my favorite character. I think that because like the whole like Zach, Claire, Danny thing was very messy. It was like the messiest part of the book in a way that I was just in love with it. It fed my soul. Like that little dynamic gave me what I thought I was going to get from the rest of it. And he was just a good person. I just liked him. But Danny was out here being just weird. And like I didn't like, the only time I didn't like that I wasn't really feeling Danny was when her little debate coach was being Mr. Creepy Man. And that man always gave me creepy energy because that man, you liked Danny more in the beginning. I hated her from the start, like from jump. I was like, I don't like you. And I felt bad, like I was saying, because her debate teacher was always giving me creepy vibes. Like I just never got anything good from that man. And then Claire was like kind of annoying in the. Can we focus? Thank you. She was kind of annoying in the beginning. I'm gonna get to that comment because yes, that. I think like the weakest part of the book is definitely the beginning because we spend a really lot of time. Is that a good sentence? We spend a lot of time with Claire in Shanghai, and I wasn't really prepared for that. Like I don't know. I felt that I really understood the family dynamics really quickly, and I didn't need. I think we were there for like a good 100 pages, and I was like, I don't care. Like I understand the dynamics of this family. We can move on to the next setting. And it was I didn't like it. I felt that we spent a lot of time with Claire and Danny not even knowing each other. And it didn't do anything for me personally. It didn't feed my soul or add anything to my experience of the book. So I did like the middle portion, I guess, the most. Yeah, it's because he made a weird I mean, I'm sure he did, but I just liked him. I liked him a lot. Yes, this is the part that this part made no sense to me because I think that it was like the perfect, like Danny's whole situation with Zach was like the epitome of miscommunication. Like they were literally just studying together. Like that's literally all they ever did. And Danny never said anything. And so when she got into that fight with Claire and he was like, that's my boyfriend, I was like, bitch, where was this man your boyfriend? Like you taught him some math. Like you told him some history. Like there was never any date. There was never any kind of communication. Like literally all they did was study. Like that was all they did. Like there wasn't even like an implication. There wasn't even a conversation of like, it was just, she had this crush and it was so, she like, I don't even know. Because before they even had the fight, Homegirl seemed to understand that they weren't a couple. Like it wasn't really a thing. Like she just liked him. But when she got into that fight, she was like, I just want to hurt Claire. And that was a lot of Danny's motivation throughout the book. I think what kind of like at the end, you really got moments of Danny and Claire kind of coming together. But for two characters who lived in the same house, went to the same school, and were together for 300 pages, I don't really think Claire and Danny had anything like their stories didn't really intertwine in any kind of way that I thought they were going to. And so that was also kind of a weird thing. I didn't fully understand or appreciate, but yes, the debate coach from the jump, I was getting creepy vibes. Like maybe it's because they had that trigger warning page. And so I was like, I'm prepared for some fuck shit to happen. And I definitely thought it was going to be the debate coach. Like I definitely thought it was going to be him. But then, yeah. We definitely can trash the parents. I liked Danny's mom. Danny's mom was cool. I kind of wish she had more to do. It was weird. As for Claire's parents, her parents, they were definitely, I guess, like they also had the Gossip Girl vibes where they were just like aloof and rich, and they were kind of involved at some points in their child's life, like when it was going to reflect on them, but for the most part it was like kind of hands off. Like it was, I understood why they were that way, but I don't know. I do feel bad about Danny's mom. I felt Danny's mom definitely could have been doing something a little bit more. What really got me though was the principal. I forget the principal's name. It was like, it started with an M, I want to say. It's like Mandalay. I feel like that's not it. I'm definitely not going to find it flipping through this book. But the principal lady, I know she's not a parent, but that was the whole third act of the book was what was going on. Could I believe that that's how a principal in that kind of a school would act? Yes. But I didn't like her. She bothered me a lot. Was Zach a terrible person when he said that? I'm sure he was, but I still liked him. And he made me happy. His whole, when he and Claire were fucking in that swimming pool, I was shook. I was shook. Did not expect to see that happening. Oh yeah, Claire's boyfriend from China, I forget what his name was too, but I sound like I definitely read this book. He was, I don't even know why he was included, if I'm being honest. He didn't do anything. He didn't add anything. It was like just momentary conflict, but it is kind of, I don't know. I didn't like him. Her new boyfriend, because again, like they weren't even communicating either. The only person that communicated in this whole book was Claire and Zach. Only two people. But the one that was like the son of the super wealthy investor man, he wasn't it for me either. And the entire time I had to read portions with him and Claire, I was over it. Like, didn't like him. I know, like, Danny is such a smart girl. Like, you on the debate team and she couldn't tell Zach. Like, I understand, like, when you have a crush on somebody and you're a teenager, like, that's obviously a very different experience than when you're a grown-ass person and you have a crush and you aren't communicating it. But she was doing literally nothing. Like, she made zero attempts to tell this man how she felt about him, and then was disturbed and mad when he wasn't reciprocating, I guess. I don't know. Like, it didn't make no sense to me. I'm gonna try and have comments over here because I feel like StreamYard is being okay. Maybe StreamYard isn't being super weird today, and comments are okay. They're asking Zach if he was a Danny, so maybe there was something there. Yeah, like she didn't want to she didn't want to be like her dad. Like I don't think she really wanted to be somebody's mistress. She wanted it to be something real. And so like they were out here communicating. I mean, she wasn't really talking to the boy she liked either, that weird person, but still, only two characters were Claire and Zach. They had conversations. Why are you still playing over here? Okay. Danny's mom was cute. She was definitely the best parent. It's not hard in this book to be the best parent, but her mom was definitely the best parent. And I felt bad that she didn't have anything to do and she was out of the loop on everything. And I'm like, if Danny's mom knew what was happening, I feel like this would be over so much faster. Her parents were definitely a mess. Her father was the biggest mess. And I felt bad for that. I didn't understand why Danny didn't like her mom. Like, that didn't make sense to me. I understood when Danny wanted to like be able to support her mom, or when Danny was trying to get into good colleges or like good grades to get into those colleges because she wanted to be able to support her mom. But some of the other dynamics they had going on, it didn't really make sense to me. And I felt that like Danny was being... Were there moments when Danny was upset that made sense to me? Sure. Like when Claire threw out the mattress, I felt that was kind of a step too far. I've never really stayed with somebody like that, but I've also never thrown somebody's mattress in the trash. So I was like, okay, moments like then, it's okay for you to be upset. But when she was like, first of all, when she was being super rude to Claire when Claire was asking her how to like do her laundry. Do I think you should be able to like know how to operate a washing machine? Yes, I think most people should have that life skill, but I also understand that there are some people who have never touched a washing machine, and it doesn't mean that you're, some super rich person. Like maybe you just can't afford a washing machine. I don't know. When she was being rude to her, and then when she got upset that Claire was like, "Oh, I'm slumming it in America," it's like you were literally just bullying the girl. Like you were a bully. Like she at that point had done nothing to you. She asked you a genuine question because she genuinely did not understand how to operate this machinery, and you were rude. And then you want to be mad when she is venting. Okay, I thought that was a choice. You genuinely thought Jay was going to be a good person. I did not think he was going to be a good person. I didn't get good person vibes from him at all. Once it became clear that it wasn't going to be what was I saying? Once it became clear that he was not, the debate coach wasn't going to be what the trigger warning page was about, and it was going to be somebody else, I was like, it's definitely going to be you. Like, it's definitely going to be him. You DNF'd and gave it 2 stars. I don't know. I think that like in the beginning, because it was so quick to be like, this is not going to be messy. It was not going to be like messy rich kids doing messy rich kid things. It was very easy for me to be like, oh, definitely did not. Let me mute notifications so that doesn't happen again. Okay, that's not even what I wanted. There we are. I don't know. I was here for the story, and I thought that what I did get was still fine. Was this book a little long if it's not going to be messy rich kids doing messy rich kid things? Yeah, it definitely could have been edited tighter. Like I said, I don't think I needed to be in Shanghai for that long. The whole middle point of the book like doesn't really set up any. I mean, I guess you kind of have the stuff with like the debate coach that kind of pays off at the end and ends in a weird place. Like there are definitely elements of the book that aren't like, it's not an objective 5 stars. It's probably closer to a 3. But I had a good time and I really liked Claire, so it got a 5 stars for me. But I definitely think that there were elements of the book that could have been tighter, and I don't know if I like a good chunky contemporary. So I felt that like I could like, if it's going to be a chunky contemporary, I kind of like for like all of it to kind of go together. And I felt that because I don't know, at some points in the book, I felt that it didn't want to have a plot and we were just going to be with them for like a slice of their life. But then at the end, it was kind of like a plot. So it was weird. You thought they were going to have a better friendship. I thought they were going to have something. I thought that once it became clear to me it wasn't messy rich kids doing messy rich kid things, I thought it was going to be them forming some kind of connection with each other. And then when it was clear that wasn't going to be the case, I was very confused as to like what it was going to be. I didn't understand. So in that way, like I said, I think the book could have been tighter. I think that it could have been different. And this is not a debut. Kelly Yang has other books. I think they're middle grade, from what I was looking at on Goodreads. I think okay, that was, hopefully I'm actually back. Let's go to the thing. Okay. That did not like that. Jane, yeah, exactly my thoughts. Me too. Oh yeah, like that's what the book could have been, and it's not. Let me see here. Yeah, she has a couple of middle grades out. Okay, take back. She has 1 middle grade out, and the sequel to that middle grade came out this year or will be coming out. So it's not a debut, but it's her first YA, and I felt that maybe could have been a little bit better there. This book really, yeah. I don't always read the author's note at the back of a book or like the acknowledgement section back there. But when I found out that she'd spent a lot of her life talking to parachutes, and she had also been sexually assaulted and stuff, I could tell like there were definitely elements of the book I thought were very personal to her. And while the book still could have been tighter, like I think you can still you can interweave your personal things and still have a tight book. I can understand why maybe it was a little off. I don't know. I would read another book by Kelly Yang. I don't know if I'm going to read those middle grades, but I would check out her other works. What was I doing? Make the beginning of Shanghai shorter and the ending what happens, Jay, the bait coach, the Claire thing. I don't know what happened to Claire. The ending was very open-ended, and it was odd. It was definitely an odd time. What was I doing here? If you get 4 stars, I mean, I could understand why that'd be disappointing. But I think that it would have been better if like there was so much. The bonding could have happened sooner. It definitely didn't have to be because of the trauma. But that's what we got. Hello, Aaron. Happy you're here. I would say that you should read the book, but others in the chat gave it 2 stars and DNF. So you hate to see it. Yes, Kelly Yang, she went to college at 18. That's what I was just looking up a moment ago. She was at Harvard Law at 18, which I think is fucking crazy because I can't imagine getting in at like 38, and she was in there at 18. So Kelly Yang is crazy intelligent and could never be me, and I respect that. And I think you can see that reflected in like parts of both characters, how Danny and Claire are both very well, Claire is really only interested, we only get knowledge of her really being interested in her English class. But Danny is like, she's studying all the things, she doing what she got to do, I guess. So you got to see that. Even Zach, you see that's important to him. But the other characters, they don't really care. They just want they want to get in, get out, and that's also perfectly valid, I think. Aaron probably would hate it, but you know, who am I to deny? I think this book is it. I can't say it's a fun time, but I had an enjoyable experience. And I don't regret making it the first pick for the Choices Book Club. So. What was I doing? What do you think of Claire's friends? Ming and Jess. I liked Ming. I wish, you know what I think would have been more interesting? I think it would have been a more interesting story to have Claire and Ming's perspective. This is, I think that, yeah, I would have really liked to know more about Ming. I found, especially at the beginning when she was still living with that creepy guy, I briefly thought he was going to do something weird or something. And I think that would have been a more interesting read for a book called Parachutes, to get like 2 different kinds of, hopefully I'm thinking of the right character. Watch me be going on, and it's like a totally different person. But I think that would have been a more interesting experience where you have Claire, who's like really well off, and Ming, who was also a parachute, but is considerably not that way. And that would have been a more interesting duo, I think. As for everyone else in there, I did not. Jess, I don't really care about Jess. Claire's whole group of friends, like the rest of the other parachute she was with, they were whatever. I didn't hate them. I didn't like them. They kind of existed. The one friend was it Jess that when Claire was what is it saying? When Claire was like, when she was talking to the Jess about how Jay had assaulted her, and she was like yelling at Jay on the phone and talking like, "Don't ever come back here, don't talk to her." That was a nice moment. I did appreciate that. That was a very nice thing to see. Did I read it fast? I read it kind of. So it is a fast read. I have not said what the September book is, but I do have it in front of me. And I think it spoiled it on my bookshop. So it's down there in the description if you don't have it. But for this one, I wanted to do a book that's been out for a couple of months now. I want to say it came out in February. I don't really remember. I also don't know how messy it is. And I don't know if it's actually going to be a choice, but I went with Of Curses and Kisses by Sandia Menon for September's book. It's a Beauty and the Beast retelling at a boarding school. So I'm here for contemporary Beauty and the Beast retellings. I've never read a Sandia Menon book, so I'm excited for that. That's what September's book will be. It'll be tweeted out in a little bit after the stream is over. Probably will be here for like another 10 minutes, maybe. I don't know. We'll see. I didn't expect the live show to go on for that long. Reading fiction is definitely subjective, definitely. When people try to be like, oh, I'm going to read this book and review it objectively, I kind of just don't take their opinions all that seriously. That part just doesn't make any sense to me. Like, I really, truly don't understand how you are going to try and claim that you're an objective reader and you're reviewing it objectively. That just sounds like a very boring review to me. So I can definitely understand how the things that I enjoyed or found pleasure in aren't going to be things that other people did. I don't think Obsidian was like a terrible book, but I don't want to continue. Maybe things get better. Maybe things get better after that first book. That's all I can say. Aaron is saying, I'm assuming you're talking about this one. So if you have Scribd, apparently this one's on there. So I figured that it would give people, because it came out in like February, I thought maybe more people would have it, or it would be easier to get at the library, unlike Parachutes, which I think was closer to when I picked it for August. I don't know. My Barnes Noble was putting out things really early, so who even knows? I think Jess is a flawed character, but she's pretty realistic. I felt that like most of... Oh, is that real? I hate it here. Why is my video unpaused? There we go. I felt that like most of the side characters were pretty great, like in terms of like they weren't just like one-dimensional. They all seemed to be real people. They just weren't people I cared about. Like sometimes side characters will be like, I don't care about you because you're just like this one thing that the character needs on their journey. But here I felt that like all of the side characters, specifically towards the end, when they were like coming out and being like, oh, well, I'm not actually rich. I'm just like running up a credit card so I can fit in with you guys. That one, like moments like that, I felt like they really came more like outside of that one dimensionality. But maybe that's just me. I don't know. I'm hoping. I haven't read any reviews of Kisses and Curses. I haven't seen anybody talk about it. I don't know what the general consensus is, but my thought process was that it has to be good, maybe, hopefully, fingers crossed. I don't know. And also, as much as I would have loved to pick Majesty for the September book, because I knew it was going to be messy, picking a sequel just felt silly. and I have no desire to reread American Royals as much as I like it. So we are continuing on with the authors of color, and we're going to be reading Of Curses and Kisses. So we've been here for 30 minutes. I feel like I've said everything I really need to say about parachutes. So I'm going to give it like 5 more minutes in case there's any other questions, things you guys want to talk about, want to bring up, but I don't want to keep anybody here too long, and I don't want to just ramble on and waste your Sunday. So the only books you've been reading are book club picks. I mean, that can work out sometimes if they're picking really good books. I guess my first pick wasn't a total hit because we had a DNF, we had a 2-star. I mean, but I'm hoping, fingers crossed, that I pick better books going forward. Maybe for October, I'll open up a poll type situation. The goal for that's what there's the comment I was just responding to. The goal for the September one is to actually do the mid-month check-in. So that would probably happen. That's probably didn't pop up because I clicked on the wrong thing. So let's see here. That would probably happen on the 12th. And I will probably tweet about it like on the 4th. I'll make a more announcement, official looking thing in my September TBR. But hopefully on September 12th, I'll be able to announce or maybe on the 19th, the 12th to the 19th, I'll be announcing the October pick. Maybe we'll have a poll. Maybe we won't. Who knows? I don't really have for the book club, I don't really have a book that I'm looking forward to because I feel like that would require me to actually do diligent planning, which is not something that I can claim. But I am looking forward to Of Curses. It's been on my TBR since it came out. I just haven't gotten around to it, but I have it now, so I am definitely looking forward to that one. Outside of that, I'm just looking forward to continuing to branch out a little bit and to read more messy contemporaries. It hasn't popped up over here in StreamYard, but I see the comment asking if I read thrillers or horror. Here it is. It finally popped up. I do not read horror novels. Now, to be fair, the only actual horror novel I've ever read was a Stephen King, and I was not impressed. I did not understand the appeal. But that's where I was there. Thrillers, I have a very hit or miss track record with thrillers. I appreciate a good mystery. So I like mysteries more than a thriller. But I don't really know what the clear distinction is there. So I don't really have recommendations for those outside of really generic ones. I really enjoyed the first 3 books in the Millenniums trilogy by Stieg Larsson. I have not participated in the continuation by, I want to say his name is David Lagerkrantz. I don't know what his first name is, but I think the last name is Lagerkrantz because they're still shelved next to the Larsson books. I didn't want to continue on with them. So I haven't continued on with them, but that was a fun thrillery book. What was it? I Wish You All the Best. Let me go to Goodreads. What was the name of this book? Please. Where is the name? Keep This to Yourself by Tom Ryan is kind of a thriller mystery. It's in that same vein as I Wish. Why do I keep going to that? To One of Us Is Lying. That same kind of. Excuse me. That same kind of situation. So I think if I think that Keep This to Yourself is better than One of Us is Lying. But if you consider One of Us is Lying to be like a thriller, I would definitely read Keep This to Yourself. But that's definitely not my genre. When I want horror thriller discussions, I usually go to Kate at Chapter Stacks because that's like her whole aesthetic is thrillers and horror, and that's what she does. She has the horror book club, and I just let her tell me things I'm not going to read. I will be in the comment section for sure. I believe that's later today at like 5 my time, 5 or 6 my time. I forget. I feel like I feel like I also know what I like when it comes to a contemporary. Anything with complicated personal dynamics, messy relationships, like that's what I'm here for. So that'll probably be what the Choices Book Club is. I hope to continue to pick things by authors of color. So if when I do a poll for October or November or whatever month I happen to settle on, I do want to continue to not really pick white people books because I feel like I'm going to read those anyway. But that's just where I'm at. But with that said, I think I'm going to wrap this up here. Like I said, I gave Parachutes 5 out of 5 stars. Definitely isn't for everybody. The pacing is definitely a little off. But at the end of the day, I had a good time. I like Kelly Yang. So I'm looking forward to her next book. And I will see everyone here in the future at some point with a new video. But if you need me, I will be on Twitter for the rest of the afternoon.